kept up many nights thinking about it, especially at like 3 a.m. So I spent a lot of time on this, and kind of thought back to how this budget was all started. Back in the fall of 2024, I and other members of the council were invited to attend the initial budget meeting where the department heads presented their budget requests to the mayor and business administrator. The direction given at that time at that meeting was to use zero-based budgeting process and only include what is necessary, not wants, nice to haves, only critical needed budgetary items. Upon review of a number of requests, the initial budget items were cut, and including reduction in capital projects. The budget was cut from the initial about 2%, or 2 cents where it is now, but still a large budget. While no one likes a tax increase, increases in most cases are necessary to carry on operations. As I contemplated the budget and resources needed to run our city, I began to see similarities between the city and an airline company, and we've all probably flown on an airline. Both airplane passengers and residents have very high expectations from the airline as well as our residents from the city. Both the passengers on an airline and residents in the city expect safety, and never have I ever heard anyone say, "I'll be okay if you make me less safe, it'll save me a couple dollars." And that just doesn't happen. No one will ever say you can skip engine maintenance on an airplane if you reduce my fare. Like aircraft maintenance and our streets, sewer, and water infrastructure, no one sees it, but everybody expects it to run without fail 100% of the time. Maintenance costs money. No one will ever say, "I don't mind being inconvenienced or delayed 4 or 5 hours if you reduce my airfare." Same thing holds true for residents. No one will say, "Skip the beach mat cleaning or allow the boardwalk to fall in disrepair if you reduce my taxes a little bit." We can cut the in-flight beverage service or allow bathrooms to become inoperable on an airplane, but I doubt anybody's going to say, "Okay, I'm okay if you let these fall in disrepair if I can save a few dollars." And the list goes on and on. Airline passengers as a whole have similar expectations of the residents of Ocean City. One of the ways airlines have been cutting operating expenses was to become more efficient and significantly increase the use of technology, as well as they implemented a yield management system to maximize airfare dollars and reduce expenses. The city now has the opportunity to become more efficient in how we spend tax dollars and how we manage one of our most significant outlays in the budget, and that is our city labor staffing. Salary and wages represent 36% of the annual budget, or $39.8 million out of a budget of $112,500. Factoring benefits, that 36% increases to 45% of the annual budget, or $50 million, or a little less than half of the total budget. The year-over-year increase in salary and wages is 4.5% alone. So I spent hours and hours reviewing and analyzing the employment expense side of the budget, since it was such a significant part. I'd be remiss in pointing out an area that has an opportunity to improve without offering suggestions. With a career background in human resources management at the executive level, I've learned how to do more with less by taking a disciplined and methodical approach to maximizing our workforce. We can do many great things to the benefit of taxpayers as well as employees. I don't think it's prudent at this time to do across-the-board layoffs, but rather seek to achieve efficiencies while maintaining the expected city services. Therefore, I'm recommending the administration to consider a strategic plan to address the following suggestions. As the mayor mentioned, a hiring freeze, but also we would include the promotion freeze. Implement a hiring and promotion freeze effective immediately, except for critical seasonal positions such as lifeguards, beach shakers, beach tag checkers, and any other critical function that has to be filled by law. Halt the process of converting part-time employees to full-time employees until a labor analysis is completed. If a position is open for 6 months or more and no significant overtime has been resulted, then that position should be eliminated. increase the use of technology. The city uses a time and attendance system for keeping track of employee hours and pay rates called ADP Workforce Now, one of the most preeminent timekeeping systems in the world today. And I understand there's plans to upgrade this technology platform to a more robust labor management system. Several departments use another similar platform, which is good. Currently, the time and attendance system is not fully automated for all employees. A manual process is used. I recommend that this system be expanded beyond the 110 part-time non-seasonal employees that use this ADP system to cover all 286 full-time employees. So this excellent time and attendance system platform is fully functional at all levels. The advantage: ability to redeploy labor that tracks time and attendance and allows completion of physical work rather than doing manual timesheets for the supervisors, thus reducing clerical staffing and the associated expense. The use of technology will also reduce the potential clerical errors and associated errors in wage payments. Scheduling reports can be created in an electronic system and exception reports generated for management review and appropriate corrective action, therefore better managing the labor. The platform also provides a robust performance management system for delivering feedback to employees. And I would also recommend we move the human resources and payroll practices to a completely paperless environment. We use a lot of paper now. We can reduce expense by moving it to electronically. Staffing models. Completed labor analysis. Again, I'm going to give you all this in writing. You don't have to take notes. Completed a labor analysis department by department and determined minimum and maximum staffing models, and use a variable labor model to target ideal staffing levels at any given time of the year as volume fluctuates. Rather than using headcounts as we currently do now, use full-time equivalents when developing staffing models. Full-time equivalents is if you have one employee working a typical 35 hours and you have two employees working 17 and a half hours, those two employees are equal to one full-time employee. So you don't pay employees by the head, you pay them by how many hours they work. This is a more accurate way of establishing manpower needs while understanding the impact of wages on the budget. Labor contracts. The negotiated labor contracts for most of the city's workforce are in force for several more years and provide an automatic 3% wage increase, which accounts for a large portion of the increase in the budget. The 3% is not out of line with national norms. In recent years, longevity payments have been reduced in the contracts, and I recommend the city continue to look at ways to reduce labor expense while not hurting our loyal employees. Legacy wages. We have many long-term, loyal, hard-working employees who, by their sheer length of service with the city, garner wages that are called legacy wages, or wages that are typically higher than normally you would pay for a position. There are creative ways to better manage legacy wages while you don't hurt the employee, but you can financially, it's a little bit better for the city, but the employee is not hurt. I would recommend you establish a compensation compliance committee. A compensation committee can be established with a diverse group of members, including a member of city council, not me.
Who else?
To review a number of employment-related issues, including additions to staff, open positions that may no longer be needed, a request for salary adjustment, reorganizing or restructuring requests, nepotism or perceived conflicts of interest through nepotism in the hiring process, and other HR policies needed or questions of compliance with the policy. This neutral, independent committee, if structured correctly, can ensure objectivity void of any conflict of interest. Labor and financial expense reviews. I recommend the mayor, this administrator, and CFO hold monthly meetings with the departments. I know some of it's being done now, but hold monthly financial review and labor review meetings monthly with not just the department head, but with all managers, including the department head of each respective department. The departments should provide justification for any variances in budget or in labor staffing by including managers beyond the department head The meeting is a way to further engage managers and provide a deeper understanding of departmental operations beyond just the work itself. These meetings will also provide the CFO an opportunity to reforecast the budget for the remainder of the year, try to get feedback, direct feedback from the departments, what's working, what's not. And finally, I would recommend a robust training program. I've always subscribed to the philosophy that well-trained employees are more motivated, more productive, more engaged, who derive a sense of satisfaction for a good day of work and speak highly of the employer. To this end, I recommend the city continue to request, which I know is underway now, to develop a robust set of employee training and development programs for all levels, not just technical training, but leadership training to help with succession planning and overall performance. I spent a significant amount of time reviewing the budget and in particular the labor expenses, and I'd be remiss if I did not give a special thank you to Frank Donato, our CFO, who endured my incessant requests and multitude of questioning on a daily basis. I continue to be amazed that Frank was the AI or the Google of anything personnel related in the city. He knew everything I asked, and right off the top of his head, without hesitation. I was truly impressed. Thanks. In closing, I believe that keeping the old adage, is it nice or is it necessary, front of mind and ingrained in the culture throughout the year. All employees should know, is this necessary or is it nice? And by considering options that I've laid out today, I think we'll go a long way to seeing improved efficiencies and reduced expenses in one of our largest component of the budget, which is the labor expense. And it's nothing that any other business strives for. Thank you.